Welcome to the Coupon and Deal Sites video lesson in Module 6. In this lesson, we're going to show you how to tap into the selling power of the many different coupon and deal sites that you'll find on the internet. These sites give you a chance to launch your product and get a quick burst of sales, as well as run some additional promotions throughout the year. Now, the internet is filled with sites that allow consumers to share information on great deals that they found on the internet. And below, here are just a few examples of such sites, but you can actually find a lot more by searching on the internet. There's Fat Wallet, Woot, Slick Deals, Deals Plus, Retail Me Not, and many others. So why would you want to use these sites? Well, these sites, when used correctly, can be a fantastic way to launch your product and get a huge burst of sales. In addition, you can periodically, about every 2 to 3 months, but not too often, share other promotions that you're running on these sites and give your product an additional sales boost throughout the year. Now, this is very important to note. These sites are made up of customers who love great deals. I mean, that's why they visit and are members of these sites. So if you make them a really good offer, it could easily go viral and help you sell hundreds, if not more, maybe thousands of your products. So you want to make sure that you set up your promotion correctly and that you have enough inventory to handle a surge like that. And trust me, we've seen this happen to a couple different members where they've either set up their promotion incorrectly or they created a promotion that was never intended to go onto these sites and ended up selling out of their inventory and lost a lot of money because it wasn't designed for this type of promotion. So be very careful about how you set your promotions and which ones you actually put onto these sites. Now there's a couple things you'll need to know about these sites. First off, these sites are consumer driven, which means they're designed with the customer in mind, and they're not designed for sellers and retailers like us to sell our products and get free advertising. And secondly, you have to remember that you're not the owner of these sites. So if you want to participate in them, you need to try and follow the rules and contribute like any other shopper or member. Not only is it going to help you out later when you launch your promotions, but it's also the right thing to do. Now let's talk about how to use these sites. First off, to properly season your account, which means getting your account ready before you actually post a deal, you'll want to go ahead and get your account set up at least a few weeks prior to launching your first promotion. The longer it is before you launch your first deal, and of course the more active you are prior to that, the better your chances are to have your deal go well. And now we'll go through all the steps and what you need to do. Now, I'm not going to go through every single site that we talked about because there's literally hundreds of sites out there and each one has its own way of setting up an account and doing the steps we'll go over, but it's pretty straightforward and you can find the instructions on each site that you go to. But step one is to create an account. And you'll want to use a persona and a generic email address. So definitely not your name or a name tied to your company and not an email address tied to your company either. You want to use something at Gmail or Yahoo and just a generic email address. Then you want to fill out as much information as possible on the profile. Remember, you want them to see you as just a regular person and another member of their site. So fill in as much as you can. And then also you want to add a picture or an avatar so that your account looks more complete. And then if the deal site is only for US residents, you may need to get a proxy service in order to get your account set up. The next step is to actually start participating in the site. So for the next couple of weeks, you want to visit the site just like any other member would who's looking to find or share great deals. And try spending about 5 to 10 minutes a day on the site, and especially the one you plan on sharing your deal with. You never know, as when I was doing this myself, I actually found a lot of great deals that I ended up taking advantage of, so it's kind of fun to do too. One idea is to find some deals on products that you own or are familiar with and make some comments about what you do or do not like about them. That way you're actually giving back to the community and you're starting to be seen as a valued new member. Another idea is to follow some of the more popular people on those sites and vote up their deals, or at least some of them. Each site has its own way of voting on deals, which is similar to voting on Amazon reviews and comments. So it should be pretty easy to figure out. And lastly, if you happen to come across a deal on the internet that you think would fit in perfectly with the site that you're on, go right ahead and post it. You just want to make sure, though, that it's not for your own product nor any other ASM product. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't post any deal that's for a strictly Amazon sold product. I'd find something outside of Amazon, such as on Sears or Target, something like that, because later on when you are posting your deal going straight to Amazon, you just don't want to have a pattern of only posting deals to Amazon. So finally, the third step is actually when you're ready to post your deal. So after a few weeks, you can go ahead and post your deal to the site following their rules and guidelines for doing so. Now remember, your deal has to be a great deal in order to take off on its own. 10 to 20% off coupons simply won't cut it, and the members of these sites know that and they'll shoot your deal down. So it really has to be a great one, and I suggest something at least between 30 and 50% off at the minimum. Now, that amount off we're talking about it should be off your normal selling price, not your retail price. These are very smart buyers looking for deals, and they know that no one ever pays retail. So don't tell them that your 20% off is off the retail price when in reality you never sell it for that anyway. Also, I suggest make sure your deal has a sense of urgency to it, such as it expires at midnight or the next day. That way, you'll get a lot more people to go in and accept your deal now. And one thing you might want to do is share how you found the deal. It makes it a little more real. Like, did you get it in an email, find it on another deal site, or maybe on a Facebook page that you follow? Now, remember, this is really important. You're a consumer who came across the deal. You're not someone who is selling it. So act accordingly. Write your deal just like you found a deal and you just want to share it to people, not that you are the person selling the product and you want to list out all the benefits. So along that line, make sure you don't use any ad copy, such as what you're taught here in this course. These sites can smell a marketer a mile away. So again, post it as a buyer, not a seller. One other thing to keep in mind that I always try to do is after you post your deal, don't comment on it. Now, this is going to be really hard to do because people may not like your product or they may not like the deal. And some people may slam it and make some remarks about whether it's a brand new product, they wouldn't trust it, or a new seller, or the deal just isn't a good one. It's important not to take it personally because remember, you are not the seller, you're just the buyer, so you cannot take these personally. And finally, if your deal's a good one, it's going to take off all on its own. There shouldn't be any need to ask people to go and vote on it, since doing so has its risks of its own. Now, step 4, and this is when you want to do another promotion, I call it round 2. So once your deal is over, you do not want to run another deal for at least 2 to 3 months. Doing that can risk getting your account banned from posting any other future deals, and also reduces the value of your deals when you keep posting discounts after discounts. And if possible, start sharing your deals for your product on your company's own social media and websites. And you might find that your sales are getting picked up all on their own by other people who have bought your product, are members of those sites, and want to share the promotions when they see it. So here are some final thoughts. First off, using coupon on deal sites is not a long-term marketing strategy, but it's simply one of the many, many tools you have at your disposal, and its purpose is to get you a burst of sales from time to time. So at some point, one of the sites you're using may very well flag or suspend your account, but do not, and I repeat, do not let it bother you, nor take it personally. These sites pride themselves on their moderation and can be incredibly aggressive, and if anything even smells of a promotion rather than someone just sharing a deal, they tend to shoot first and not even bother asking questions later. And finally, we just created a brand new section in the forums that's never existed before that is solely for sharing information on this topic, such as sites that members have come across that they're now using to share their own deals, strategies that are or are not working, and in general, any other information on this topic that might help other members out. So be sure to check it out as we're really excited about this, as it's going to be another great resource for all of our members to have.